Hello, Christopher. I normally would be engaging you in the comment section like I normally would this time, but this time, however, I definitely can have a lot more to say that can be adequately explained and in just one comment. Because given the events that have transpired over the past week or so, I have been trying not to get involved unless I had to, and I've done a pretty good job of that, I think. However, things you have said and others have now forced my hand, I'm afraid, and so I might as well get to the meat of things because given the events of what has happened in XYZ, I can understand why you're upset. I can, and as well as others, but frankly, this is uncalled for. What you are saying, and that's probably the primary reason why it took me this long on to actually finally make a video about it, how it addressing you and several others, because frankly, it's getting kind of ridiculous now, for not for the reasons you would suggest it. I mean, the reason why I have not taken part in all this nonsense, such as hate bombing, TV Tokyo's YouTube channel, no downvotes, which makes the Ghostbusters thing a few months back look absolutely minuscule by comparison, and why I've been reluctant to get engaged in this whole thing. But I'm sorry, Chris. I've been following you for a while now, and I'm not gonna be unsubscribing, because that'd just be too hasty of me, based on what's going on. However, I can also suggest that at this point in time, I am that you and others may have pulled the trigger too early, because I waited until I saw episode 39 to recording this, and be that as it may, I feel that there's more that can be talked about in order that can be addressed. Just a comment or two. And also forgive the lighting conditions because it's summertime here in Oregon and it's a bit brighter than normally would be. There's more that I can say for your assessment of the series. Because overall, XYZ series has actually been very good. I agree here with that sense. The fact that I would let just one element sour my enjoyment of a whole series, frankly, to me doesn't make any sense. To be like me, he's saying, that I love going long on, but I don't like it when things change after a time skip. And that's actually a thing, by the way. Your favorite anime, Steins Gate, mine's going long on. Since and that's another thing about that, because you mentioned other series that you've been watching. Like I Got My God Kill. My brothers and that sort of thing. I'm not. I just don't get the whole thing, to be honest. I'll definitely be addressing this further when I officially start reviewing these episodes again, and especially with my 100th episode coming. But ironically, you and what you have said has actually provided a final catalyst to get these started up again. Frankly, the idea here that this event is rational enough to dislike an entire character, to me, is utter nonsense. And it's just the way fans have been reacting. I can definitely understand why a lot of you are angry, at least, but to be honest, I wouldn't be reacting this way if everyone else wasn't already, because as it stands, there's literally nothing else I could say that and everyone else already isn't, because... And another thing regarding the tone, that sometimes the question I get asked is why Dark Knight of all movies is my favorite movie. I would suggest, apart from the reason I point out my review, is because how I believe no matter how dark a situation may be, no matter how bleak a movie may be, there's always a way for someone to succeed. And the outcome of this league is, in obvious fact, the antithesis of everything I stand for, or as a Pokemon fan. And not just in the outcome itself, but also the way fans have been reacting. Because also, well, these constant comparisons to explore previous series. I mean, last I checked, there weren't any sociopaths like Seamus and Sandora. I mean, unless you count that college humor parody, which I personally do not. And all things considered, I think on a personal level, well, I definitely can understand why you people aren't happy. I think Nostalgia Group may put it best in his review of Pinky and Myra and the Brain for his What's That Real series. I'm kind of disappointed and not more disappointed, to be honest. And I can understand how you may want something else for some Moon rebrand that's coming. I mean, but putting a new protagonist out of whole claw is actually not that as simple as you think it is. I mean, we had that, and I believe when a law was introduced that way, I believe you said that we would fall in love with him. Given this backlash is coming around, and even though he still has some fans, this definitely is not the case. I've even outright said more than one point I despised him, but... And that's more of my whole issue with the league's outcome, because at the very least I can understand why people aren't happy with the turnout after what has... how the XYZ has been having shake-ups to usual formula. At the same time, if I just find Alon as a rival too underdeveloped to care, I mean, I made a strong trainer, and I disagree with the comparison to Gary as well because of how Gary is like the prime example of me of a love-to-hate rival because of how much of a jerk he is. I mean, it's like, if Lucas Spartan wasn't one of the power of the wizard, he would have been your man, I mean. And if that's the case, if you want someone like Red, I would definitely suggest that you honestly need to stop expecting qualities as one series that Crazy Clay did not intend for them to have. I mean, and that may have been, and all this backlash partially stemming from the fact not just because the whole thing happened, because many people had unrealistic expectations using what happened. I mean, it's like that Jason Bateman meme. I didn't know what I expected. I mean, because a lot of people were so confident in what Alon could have done, that they failed to realize on a fundamental level that his character was badly written. So ignore that, it's just someone driving by, I think. Because, admittedly, I am not the same person that I was as when I started reviewing these doing reviews on my kitchen, so as my common window IT 5 years ago, I mean. And I even also suggest that in another case, you may have pulled the trigger a bit too early, I mean, yeah, about what's going to happen, because I made sure to watch episode 39 before I recorded this morning. And that was pretty early. Usually, these episodes, when they're all come pretty early. My Japanese isn't the best, but I can usually tell enough to get what's going on from the images and the music and everything that. Because I have to say that in similar manner to the last time this happened, the Team Flag was off to a good start because what actually generally surprised me most is the fact that Alon is actually showing remorse, albeit a small amount of what he's done, and this makes his victory a lot emptier because of how complicit he was in Team Flag's doings, man. And there's another parallel I can draw with my movie. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, because I honestly don't know what's going to happen in this arc, but I definitely know that I plan on covering it officially and getting more into this because there's not much that can be discussed in just one video, to be honest. Because I feel that after it's happened so many times, after a while, well, you just start losing the ability to care. I could honestly rant and yell and scream all day until my voice gave out, but it wouldn't mean anything. Just as others are doing, but I'm not gonna take part in it because if I've been given heaven as something for a character that's cold and calculating, and that's what that character shall receive in return. And that's hence the famous golden rule. Which the internet seems to have callously disregarded. What I'm trying to get across is, Christopher, that at this point, issuing a complaint about an animated television series having an episode just like is, to me, is highly petty given what's going on in other places. Is this because I feel that what's going on overseas at home is much more distressing to me than the fact that a character I admire got screwed over by one I despise. And I kind of agree. I do agree with some points, however, that the battle itself was well animated, the music was awesome, every action was incredibly well choreographed. I can also agree that its conclusion was one that was definitely admittedly a letdown, but even so, I actually don't blame Mash or anyone that what's happened because especially not taking his to feel good humor, which not many people really have. And a final instantly sneeze at because, after all, only human. And as for this whole idea that Alola's not going to have a egg against on the moon, you don't know that. That hasn't been officially confirmed. You know what I mean? A lot of people are assuming that, and I'm not going to jump to that conclusion because I could honestly just sit here in my bedroom on my posters, my games, my collectibles, and feel how sorry about what happened, but that wouldn't mean anything. I instead want to do what he would do in the situation. I going to put on my running shoes, continue this journey into the end, and just see how far the road goes. Because basically, Alon is now officially my least favorite rival ever, because he's basically like Shinji Ikari or Kylo Ren without any of the sympathetic qualities that made them endearing and hearing, despite their psychoses. And if you still feel the same way as what others do, like, I'm not gonna try and change your mind, and Christopher, because, but if you like Alon as a character, please tell me why. Like, I'm not going to get angry at you because now is not the time for that. That'll be another time for me to feel how that way. I'm just not too numb for this whole thing right now, so if my words have gotten through to you, Christopher, I would honestly like to hear what I'll try to say. So, see you later.